योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि. My dear students and faculty members, today and tomorrow we are going to discuss, analyze the relationship between Bharatiya psychology and yoga. Many of you must be a bit feeling strange because I am using Bharatiya psychology. And also, you know the reason also about that. As far as Bharat is concerned, in every field of human life, science, knowledge, and everywhere, we have got our own approach towards education, research, and everything. Of course, we have got a manovigyan or psychology part also. What is the relationship between yoga and psychology? Whether yoga can be considered as anything related to psychology, whether it has got any relationship between the modern so-called Western psychology, whether there is any difference between Bharatiya psychology and modern Western psychology. All these aspects have to be discussed threadbare. Then only we can come to some conclusions. I do consider when Paitrak and the Bharatiya Vichara Kendra and the Rajagiri Educational Institution coming together and planning a seminar, it is not just, it shall not be just another seminar. We should come out with a proper conclusions, proper answers to all these questions. Greatest yogi of Bharat in the modern times, none other than Maharishi Sri Aurobindo, he has viewed yoga as a form of applied psychology. It has been included in our invitation letter also. Yoga is actually an applied psychology, a method for transforming consciousness and human nature. Manushya Prakriti, our both and our both. It is to be transformed. For that purpose, yoga is being used. That is Maharishi Aurobindo's view about yoga. Aurobindo again says, yoga aims for a complete psychological and spiritual transformation. So it has got definite connection with that Shastra, that science, psychology. And again he was saying, it is a scientific approach to exploring consciousness and its evolution, utilizing introspection and inner instrumentation to understand the subjective realm. The subjective realm, if you want to understand it, we must go deep into our mind. But I am a bit doubtful whether the modern so-called Western psychology is agreeing with this conclusion. Whether Winner, whether Freud, whether James, and all so-called modern psychologists, whether they are very much in tune with this approach which Aurobindo was saying and actually what yoga is. I would like to quote another quotation which has been made by Aurobindo about the yoga psychology. Is an examination of the nature and the movements of consciousness as they are revealed by the processes and results of yoga. He wrote in essays on divine and human. It was clearly mentioned. In the same way, I don't want to explain much about this aspect. So, first and foremost thing which we have to understand is, unlike the modern Western psychology, we are considering yoga as applied psychology. Yes. Another important yogi of our modern times, that is Swami Vivekananda, he was saying this, most important saying about the yoga. I quote, a comprehensive path to self-realization and spiritual growth encompassing physical, mental, spiritual and psychological disciplines. That is what which Vivekananda has seen what yoga is. Again, he was saying about this particular aspect about the relationship between psychology and yoga. He was saying, I quote, yoga and spiritual teachings contain profound psychological insights such as the impact of thoughts on character and actions, the importance of self-awareness, and the potential for positive transformation through dedicated practice. Swami Vivekananda, when he analyzed the human soul and the very lakshya of the human life, what is the actual end for all approaches, he was saying his approach towards the soul is very much in tune with our Bharatiya cultural approach. He was saying each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of this, and be free. Actual approach towards the human life and what is the end result of all these practices? It is to make us free. Our nation, our culture, this great nation stands always for the freedom, the ultimate freedom. That's why he's saying the four aspects of the yoga all are aiming towards the control of the internal and external nature of ourselves. Again, I would like to compare it with the so-called Western modern psychology. They are not at all in agreeing with this approach. They are always saying it is not possible to control the internal nature of a man. And Freud, when he was comparing it with the Bharatiya yoga and the Western psychoanalysis of Freud, he was saying that it is impossible. And also, if you are taming your intrinsic nature, it will create no satisfaction. But if it is untamed, that was his approach. The Western approach is like that. He was saying, if it is untamed, the internal nature is untamed, that is uncontrolled, the satisfaction would be higher. That was his approach. So I would like to request the participants and the presenters of different papers or the thesis, they have to analyze and compare what is Bharatiya psychology and what is the Paschatya modern psychology. The main difference I would like to point out, because time is very much limited, our naturally governance program has got its own time protocol, so I have to conclude. Bharatiya psychology emphasizes on spirituality, interconnectedness and self-realization, while Western psychology focuses on individualism, empiricism and the biopsychosocial aspects of human experience. There are differences between the cosmology, the worldview, and also core focus of Western psychology and Bharatiya psychology is entirely different. The core focus of Western psychology is biopsychosocial process. But as far as Bharatiya psychology is concentrating upon, it goes beyond the biopsychosocial process. I'm saying that it is also somewhat doing all this biopsychosocial process, but it extends this to include the spiritual dimension and the concept of pure consciousness. So these subtle differences are to be analyzed, or I am requesting you all to request it. The main definition of yoga, as far as Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is concerned, that is Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Vritti. Vritti is not mere thoughts, but as to understand it, we can simplify it and say that it is thought. Thought nadi, chitta nadi is to be controlled. Then we can attain the ultimate satisfaction and we can be free through that type of processes. In a way, contentless, total vacuum, and that background is to be formed through the yoga practices. Then only your thought waves will be subsided. Then only your chitta will be transparent. Then only you can control your mood swings. Then only you can reach into a psychological balance or equanimity. That is the main lakshya, I have already said, of this yoga practices. But already I have said, as far as the Western psychological approach is entirely different. And I am happy to say the modern researchers in the modern so-called Western psychology is also coming somewhat near to this Bharatiya psychological aspects. And now there are a lot of researchers in this way also is going on. I don't want to take much time to give my own views on this particular aspect. I have been asked to speak something about the comparison in between this both psychological approach and the yoga's importance. One thing is for sure, now yoga has reached each and every nook and corner of this whole world, thanks to the present government which has appealed to the whole world to celebrate this June 21st as Yoga Day. It has been reached all over the world, but whether the philosophy behind the yoga has reached or not, the main purpose of this type of seminar must be for that. Already it has been said by Reverend Father that the yoga is being approached only as a physical exercise for the beautification of the body, for the age and all those things. But yoga is something beyond all these things, something beyond. This is the greatest contribution or greatest gift to the whole humanity, to the make mind control or make the human life more happy and satisfactory life. That's all I would like to conclude here with these words. Namaskar, Vande Mataram.